This is a big one today. There's a lot that's about to change with the budget reconciliation, and it all boils down to this. There's been billions and billions of dollars of our taxpayer dollars that has been going to the Taliban, a terrorist group. It was unveiled today in Congress, and now Senate Majority Leader Thune and Mike Johnson and Trump say that we have to undo this all with the budget reconciliation of how we're giving them money. It is literally sickening that the American taxpayer dollars are going to a terrorist group. But this is where, again, too, all these leaders are following Trump's agenda. They're going to use budget reconciliation and undo all this allocation of money that's literally going. So check this out. We're giving this money to the United Nations, and the United Nations is then dispersing it out, and the Taliban is getting billions and billions of taxpayer dollars, and Trump said, it's done, I'm not doing this anymore. They also said that through the budget reconciliation, they want to cut foreign aid, they want to cut money to illegal immigrants, and they want to start all the reallocation back to Americans through no tax on Social Security, no tax on tips, the huge, large tax cuts that Trump wants to extend back from 2017 and really push the American economy to the top. We also have the breaking news where, again, too, guys, you cannot make this up. We spent $90 billion on all bringing refugees to the United States. Like, literally, bringing refugees to the United States. America spent $90 billion over the past 4 years. This amounts to about spending about $100,000 per refugee. Imagine getting $100,000 spent on you to come to the United States, get all the benefits and whatnot. Again, budget reconciliation. They said we cannot keep spending and borrowing to give handouts to immigrants and to all these people of the Taliban. And we have the big news that Christopher Wray has conceded, and essentially he was about to be fired, but now we're about to hear the next steps from Josh Hawley and Kash Patel, who's going to be the new FBI director, who stated that he's going to release the January 6 files, the Epstein files, all the Trump investigation, Hunter Biden laptop files, the Diddy files. He said he's bringing full transparency to the American people, as well as we also have DHS Secretary Mayorkas, who, now that Christopher Wray has resigned, is expected to announce it anytime soon of him stepping down as well. And all I have to say is, it's about dang time. Just want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. Thank you so much for your support. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button so I can serve you every day with the top news. And if you don't mind clicking the thumbs up like button, it really does help to grow the channel. And thank you so much to all of our members of the channel. Already killing it. I'm seeing the popcorn. Guys, we've got a show for you today. I love all the truth that is coming out like never before. If you want to become a member, the link is in the description to join, as well as follow me on X. And also, thank you to everybody that gives a super chat donation to the channel. We are so grateful for your support. I am so excited for this month, Christmas season, the season of giving. It's going to be amazing. But again, too, guys, you cannot make this up. I just showed you our taxpayer dollars. They released it today, is going to the Taliban. Now we're about to see what the new FBI director is about to do about it. Check this out.
Trump has left an impressive list of establishment figures in his wake. The Clintons, the Bushes, the Bidens, the Cheneys. He beat the machine supporting Kamala Harris. And now you can add Christopher Wray to the list.
After weeks of careful thought, I've decided the right thing for the Bureau is for me to serve until the end of the current administration in January and then step down.
Oh, well, they were going crazy about this on all the other networks today. Couldn't believe he did this. But look, it didn't have to be this way. When Trump appointed Wray back in June of 2017, Trump noted his impeccable qualifications and even called him a fierce guardian of the law and a model of integrity. Sounds good. Well, Wray does get credit for acknowledging one threat.
No country presents a broader, more severe threat to our ideas, our innovation, our economic security than China.
China. Yeah, that's a threat. Good for you. Got that right. But the enduring legacy of Wray is what he did to the FBI. He destroyed its credibility. It's a good time to take inventory of his record. The bad, the worse, and the worst. The bad, well, he promoted a conspiracy theory about the Trump assassination attempt.
I think with respect to former President Trump, there's some question about whether or not it's a bullet or shrapnel that hit his ear.
Wow.
The worst, he refused to take accountability or provide any transparency on the FBI's role in harassing parents.
The Attorney General sent a memo to you directing the FBI to target parents. How many moms and dads who have spoken up at school boards has the FBI interviewed or investigated since the memo?
I'm not aware of any. We have had a small number of assessments and a few full investigations.
And the worst, well, he diverted resources away from real threats and put them toward targeting Americans.
In terms of domestic violent extremism, domestic terrorism, that number has grown steadily on my watch. So we've increased the number of domestic terrorism investigations from around 1,000 or so to about 2,000 now. That's domestic terrorism overall.
Wray's resignation leaves the spot open for a transformative pick, Kash Patel.
Yes.
Who's on Capitol Hill today and met with my next guest, Missouri Senator Josh Hawley. Senator, there is a lot to clean up and clean out at the Bureau. What do we know? What concrete steps will Patel take, assuming he's confirmed, and it looks like by all accounts right at this point he will be, to restore the public's trust in the FBI?
Well, I think, first of all, Laura, he pledged to me today that he would be absolutely transparent and he would make available to the public all the facts about who, for instance, came up with the idea to try to recruit spies in Catholic churches. Who is it who gave the green light to send SWAT teams to the homes of pro-life demonstrators? Who is it that green-lighted sending the FBI to the homes of parents who went to school board meetings, as you were just reporting on? All of that needs to come out. Laura, so far, do you know who's been disciplined, let alone fired for any of that? Nobody. Zero. He told me today he was going to get to the bottom of all of it, that there would be complete and total transparency, and that would be a terrific first step towards restoring some confidence in the FBI.
Well, somehow in Washington, Senator, we have this idea that no one should really get fired because people are dedicated civil servants and that's like retribution. But how is accountability suddenly retribution?
Yeah, and how about the rule of law? I mean, the rule of law is supposed to be above everything else. And when you've got a law enforcement agency like the FBI, I don't want to hear about, federal regulations, we need to go through the process. Christopher Wray said that junk to me on more occasions than I can count. What I want to hear is we are following the law, and if one of our agents broke the law, let alone the First Amendment, which, by the way, we haven't even talked about the fact that Christopher Wray worked with the biggest corporations in the world, the big tech companies, to censor American speech deliberately over and over, and they lied about that too. Anybody involved in that, Laura, anybody ought to be gone from the Bureau. First day, gone. That's what it means to protect the Constitution and the rule of law, and I think that's what we'll get from Kash Patel.
All right, Senator, thank you very much. And next...
Guys, I'm telling you, the dream team is coming together. I'm really liking this guy, Kash Patel. He's gone in and he's been meeting with a ton of people going through. Today, he met with Senator Josh Hawley. Check this out. They met today. Kash Patel said, I had a great time meeting with Senator Hawley this morning. He's a stalwart defender of religious liberty and a strong advocate for increased FBI transparency. Again, guys, the transparency is this. There is a lot of moving parts behind the scenes of where money goes, who they're censoring. The FBI 100% colluded with Twitter. Remember the Twitter files to censor pro-Americans. They literally, we have seen some of the worst things to come against Americans' freedoms in the past years coming from this FBI administration and from the Biden administration. Welcome to the fam, Michelle Cadillo and Heisenberg. Let's go. Y'all show them some love in the chat. I want to show you this too because this is probably, to me, the most gut-wrenching reason why they're about to redo all the money, guys. Your tax dollars are going to the Taliban. This is from Representative Tim Burchett. This is the evidence that they found. And this is blowing my mind because, again, too, guess what? Y'all heard about the United States. I told you giving another $20 billion loan to the Ukrainians backed by frozen Russian assets. So we are $36 trillion in debt, and we can't give our own, pay off the debt or give our own people the money. We got to take money that's from the Russian assets and give it to somebody else. It's literally sickening how many times they give our dang money to another country. But again, too, guys, what do we expect when you don't have an America First agenda? Because it's more. There's a lot more that's coming out, guys. But we have to make sure that we always select, not the rhinos, get them out of the way, primary them, put the right people in charge. Check this out.
I need you to understand that. It's not Donald Trump who violated norms. The pardoning of Donald Trump didn't have to pardon any of his kids. It's Joe Biden who did it. Norms weaponizing government. Twinkies. Alvin Bragg. You got Tish up in New York. You got Fonnie Willis. You've got the Justice Department, Derek Farland. Those are the ones that have weaponized the government, violated norms, broken our government. It's not us. I want you to watch this segment on CNN about January 6 pardons, where, again, they talk about the potential pardon of January 6 defendants as if this is some kind of norm violation in the shadow of Joe Biden just pardoning his kid, Hunter Biden, for a crime that Joe Biden may have had a nexus to. Check this out.
For Donald Trump, what matters is that these people are pardoned because they reflect on him. He sees them as his emissaries. He doesn't think that what happened on January 6th was an assault on the government. And so therefore, exonerating them exonerates him.
Do you fail to see, though, how much easier politically and rhetorically and just as you talked about, pushing the norms, that last week's pardon of Hunter led to all of this so much easier.
So, right, but Hunter didn't try to overthrow the government. These people tried to overthrow the government.
Again,
they stormed our Capitol, and I hear what you're saying. I totally do. But I just think that pardoning your son for crimes that did not affect, that were victimless crimes, are very different than storming the Capitol where people died.
Crimes he was not convicted of, and over a longer period of time. There was not simply crimes he was convicted of. That, again, we talk about norms breaking. It made it so much easier for both the Republican
It doesn't make it right.
I'm not saying either of that. I'm saying that we talk about norms breaking. This made it so much easier, and also for Trump to be open about it.
Folks, I'm getting a ton of email and communication. I don't mean to change the topic, but you see what I'm getting at with that. The norms have already been violated, folks. The constitutional republic's already been flushed down the toilet. It's up to us to save it. Constant talk about Donald Trump violating norms in light of what Joe Biden just did over the last 4 years with the weaponization of government is a hilariously dumb conversation, even by the standards of CNN. Please, send fire away. But evidence. Notice on the show, clips, journal pieces, what reporters on the issue were saying. Evidence matters. Whenever you bring this topic up, I told you, I get 1,000 people who want to, kick you in the balls about it. I gotta power through. This story is too important. There is something clearly in the skies in New Jersey, in a sensitive Northeast corridor, that people in government either don't know what it is or don't want to tell you. Either one of those answers is deeply concerning. Either one. All right, I got a lot more I want to get to, too, including some developments yesterday. Daniel Penny, you know the case that's grabbed national attention, the New York subway case. Daniel Penny was interviewed by a good friend and a good patriot, Judge Janine from Fox. You know who she is. She got and scored the interview. Personally, my opinion, some of you agree, some of you don't. I don't think Daniel Penny should be talking right now. I think Daniel Penny's a hero. I think he's a patriot. However, he's still subject to a ridiculous civil lawsuit, in my opinion. And I think at this point, anything he says is going to be used against him if he put on the stand. Now, he appears to be a very composed guy. It's just my opinion. Some of you agree, some of you don't. However, the interview yesterday was pretty darn good. And you'd think after all this guy's been through, Daniel Penny, this hero who saved these people on the subway from a guy threatening their lives, right? You would think Daniel Penny would say, you know what, if I had to go back and do it again, I may have to think this over. They've attacked me. All of a sudden, no. Daniel Penny's like, hey, man, I have no regrets at all. Watch a piece of this interview. This is really good stuff. This is a very composed gentleman and a patriot. Check this guy out.
I'm not a confrontational person. I don't really extend myself. I think this type of thing is very uncomfortable. All this attention and limelight is very uncomfortable. And I would prefer without it. I didn't want any type of attention or praise, and I still don't. The guilt I would have felt if someone did get hurt, if he did do what he was threatening to do, would never be able to live with myself. And I'll take 1 million court appearances and people calling me names and people hating me just to keep one of those people from getting hurt or killed.
Wow.
Folks, this guy's a hero. And he has every right to speak out and tell his story. And I understand the impulse to want to tell your story. He did the right thing. His character's being destroyed by a bunch of race-hustling assholes. I get that.
Sorry, guys.
But civil liability is a really real thing. It's unfortunate what's this guy's name is still being dragged through the mud. You know, and I hope people will support him. But you just got to be careful. This is a good man. And he's being destroyed by this country. I am convinced one of the first things Donald Trump should do is give this guy one of those presidential awards at the White House and send a message that the days of criminals being coddled and the good guys getting their balls kicked in are freaking over.
Guys, I'm telling you, like there is so much crap happening today. It is unreal. What we're seeing with the drones, what we're seeing with all the money from the Taliban. Listen to this. You literally can't make this stuff up. They're calling this before Congress. They speak it, and it's like it's nothing.
My friend Legend, an Afghan-American and former U.S. Army non-commissioned officers, traveled to Afghanistan after the collapse and reports that the Taliban has been benefiting from U.S. cash shipments sent to the Afghan Central Bank. This is American funds. And that was sanctioned terrorists are diverting U.S. aid meant for the Afghan people. Why are we giving the Taliban millions in taxpayers' dollars while they hold Americans hostage and are killing the Afghan people? And in my opinion, sir, they will hate us for free. We don't need to be giving them money.
We're not giving the Taliban anything. As I discussed with Congressman Mast, we are providing money, as many other countries are, to UN agencies, NGOs, to help the Afghan people.
And these agencies are funding the Taliban. Reports are saying between 40 and 80 million U.S. tax dollars are given to the Taliban every dadgum week. I mean, is that acceptable?
According to the report that I read and that the Congressman referred to, the CIGAR's report, of the approximately $8 billion that the international community, including the United States, has dedicated to Afghanistan, about $10 million of that is 0.1%. Has no doubt gotten to the Taliban in terms
I don't care if it's that gum penny. I don't care if it's a penny. I mean, for you to sit up here and admit that our enemies, I mean, these people swear to hate Christians and Jews, and that takes care of about everybody in this dadgum room. And we're sending them, I don't care if it's 1%, and you can, but let me tell you, $10 million is a hell of a lot of money, the people I represent.
God, can you believe that, guys? They literally talk about giving the Taliban the money, taxpayer dollars, like it's nothing. Literally, it is blowing my mind. But guys, I wanted to I haven't showed much of this on the channel. I wanted to show a little bit over what happened with the CEO that was assassinated, the healthcare and all that, and just show, guys, we really need some help in our country right now. Check this out.
Evidence is mounting against the man accused of murdering United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, as fans of the suspect show no shame in posting their sick support of the cold-blooded killer. According to the police, Luigi Mangioni's fingerprints match evidence at the crime scene, and the gun recovered from Mangione matches shell casings used in the murder. And while cops continue their investigation, there now seems to be a growing fan club for the suspected killer, who, we should remind you, stands accused of executing a father of two by shooting him in the back. Wanted posters have been popping up in New York showing photos of various healthcare CEOs. Merchandise that glorifies the killer has been flooding online stores like Etsy and eBay. And tens of thousands have been raised in his defense. However, Etsy and GoFundMe have since taken action to stop the disgusting donations. Meanwhile, Democrats like Elizabeth Warren, the senator from Massachusetts, are coming very close to justifying what the shooter did.
Wow.
And look, we'll say it over and over. Violence is never the answer. This guy gets a trial who's allegedly killed the CEO of United Health. But you can only push people so far. And then they start to take matters into their own hands.
And the media and the liberal late night are also acting heartless in the way they've covered the murder.
These are screen grabs of actual exchanges between our members of our staff and their friends, relatives, whatever. Okay, so I would visit him in prison and bake him cookies, maybe, perhaps more, but I haven't thought that far ahead.
So much of the clips we were watching at the top of this segment are driven by the fact that this is an attractive.
We got to drop the banner to show why.
And it is deeply troubling.
They did appear to catch that guy today at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. It's true. Look, I'm sorry, guys.
Continue, Judge, and maybe if you want to comment on the law and the extradition or
I
the
want
fact
to comment on a couple of things. Number one, when I was a judge and I would be sentencing someone to state's prison, the girlfriends would come in, knowing I'm giving the guy 25 years to life, and I'd marry them right after the sentencing so that they could, be together, whatever, for conjugal visits. I don't know what it is. Women love bad boys. They always have. They want to nurture them. They want to be able to, be with them. I think anyone who is enamored with this guy has a screw loose in her head. That's number one.
Truth?
Number two, as the evidence adds up, and it appears that this man is the killer. And, once he's extradited to New York, he'll be indicted. When someone says violence is wrong, but,
right.
I want you to think of the word but. Whenever anybody says but, that means they really are not serious about what they said before the word but. And so you can only push people so far. Nobody pushed anybody so far. This is nothing that you can attribute to an individual who is a corporate executive. And when we start blaming people and calling them names and making them deserving of death, an imminent death sentence, it shows that we are degrading as a society. Now, people told us to watch our language. We couldn't say illegal alien, although it's still in all the federal statutes. We had to say the pronouns. But these people want to say, you know what, this kid is a good kid. I love his abs. It's, it's kind of, he killed someone, but you kind of get it, I want to know where are the community notes, where are the strikes and the red flags, okay, on people who are communicating on social media. Mm-hmm.
Is that good looking?
Guys, I'm telling you, we got some sick people right now in the United States, and it blows my mind because there's a lot of the United States that wish that Kamala Harris would have won. They wish that this guy, who literally let in over 20 million illegal immigrants, would still be keeping his job. But he's reportedly said he's going to be stepping down. Mayorkas. They wish that, even Biden, some of them wanted Biden to win. But what I love is that there's a lot of crazy that we got to get out. There's a lot of red flags, everybody, that we got to take down because it just doesn't make any sense. The stuff that we're seeing now. And one thing I want to show you too, overwhelmingly, I love it whenever CNN kind of has to eat their own words, excuse me, about Donald Trump. Watch this.
There's no doubt that the president is going to enter office with a little bit of a honeymoon. Take a look here. Donald Trump has a 55% approval rating. That's not normally a support level we see for him as it relates to his handling of the transition right now. 45% disapprove. Compare this to 8 years ago when Donald Trump first won the presidency in November 16. At this point, he was at 46% approval of his handling of the transition. There's no...
You see that? 55%, guys, are approving what Trump is doing. Why? Because it's common sense. And you know what they're saying? All aboard the Trump train, baby. Check it out.
Tied to the tracks. That's what Republicans and even Democrats are telling each other. The train's departing from Mar-a-Lago and everyone's scrambling for a seat. Once you step into the cafe car, you never know who you're going to see.
What we have is a 4-year grace period, but we have to work hard, all of them. And I don't know, the president's got a big job on his hands to turn this place around. A lot of damage is done, and they continue to start fires. I hope in the next 4 years we can get back some of that precious commodity that this country has. That commodity called freedom.
Trump liked the Patriot Award so much, he's giving out his own awards. Look at that lineup there, getting their hardware.
Tucker,
America's most
Kid
successful
Rock.
entrepreneurs are wintering in Palm Beach. Elon already has his own villa at Mar-a-Lago. Others are just dropping in for dinner.
Have you been down to Mar-a-Lago since the election?
Yes.
How many times?
A fair amount. Maybe half my time down there since the election.
Wow.
That was venture capitalist Mark Andreessen, one of the greatest pioneers of the internet, having dinners on the patio for the nightly pitch meeting. Hey, Trump, what about this? You're hired. Andreessen's not an ideologue. He's met with Biden's team, and they wanted AI to be owned by the government.
They basically said AI is going to be a game of 2 or 3 big companies working closely with the government, and we're going to basically wrap them in a, I'm paraphrasing, but we're going to basically wrap them in a government cocoon. We're going to protect them from competition. We're going to control them, and we're going to dictate what they do. This generation of Democrats, the ones in the White House under Biden, they became very anti-capitalist, and they wanted to go back to much more of a centralized, controlled, planned economy. I don't think there's been an administration this radical on economic policy, on these economic and tech policy. I don't think in ever. The communists 100 years ago wanted industrialization because they knew that industrialization and technological advance made everybody's lives better. They just wanted to seize it all once it was built. These people didn't even want it to get built. And so something went horribly wrong in this administration.
This is how the Democrats rig the economy. You have a couple of monopolies in each industry that does the government's bidding. Now, everything makes sense, doesn't it? Tomorrow, 47 is going to be ringing the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange. And he's been named Time Magazine Person of the Year.
Person of the Year.
Can you believe Time made Hitler Person of the Year? It's got to be a business decision because the legacy media is on life support. CNN just lost to the Food Network. People would rather see veal scallopini being prepared than Wolf Blitzer. And inside of the newsrooms, they've accepted defeat.
If you watch the opinion of us, how many people trust the press anymore? I mean, we're way down there with the lawyers.
Yeah.
This is really rough, as you know.
You're way down there with Congress.
I despair. Seriously, I worry greatly. We're at a point where if the President of the United States is going to say legacy media is dead, well, I guess Musk said that. Legacy media is dead.
And he wants it dead. He wants other media.
But it is kind of, sort of hobbling right now. And I don't know how it recovers. I'm very dark about it.
Well, Biden just pardoned Hunter for what was on the laptop that Leslie Stahl said was fake. And Leslie doesn't know how the media recovers. Retire, Leslie. With all due respect, you're the reason why. The media is panicking. Politico's newsletter is asking, how long can the Trump honeymoon last? 4 years, baby. 4 years.
Let's go.
The FBI director gets it. Here's Chris Wray.
After weeks of careful thought, I've decided the right thing for the Bureau is for me to serve until the end of the current administration in January and then step down.
Chris Wray wasn't going to get tied down to the tracks, but not every Democrat has common sense. Eric Swalwell's putting together his own deep state sleeper cell.
To the agents at the FBI and the DOJ prosecutors, I say this. I was a prosecutor once. I had an oath to upkeep to the Constitution and to the court, and you're not helpless. You do not have to follow illegal orders.
The FBI let Swalwell off the hook for sleeping with a Chinese spy, so he's got to be a good little boy with the amount of dirt they have on him. Over at Langley, they're getting a little antsy, too. RFK Jr. is lobbying Trump to put his daughter-in-law at the CIA. He thinks the agency assassinated his uncle and probably his dad and wants to get to the bottom of it. And remember, Trump promised he'd release the JFK files. The government's been abusing its power for decades. We're old enough to know the truth. Some Democrats are saying, count me in. John Fetterman just joined Truth Social. his first post, railing against the deep state for weaponization of the judiciary. Said the cases against Trump were BS.
Wow.
Over on the Republican side, most of them are on board too.
I think all of Trump's nominees, for the cabinet at least, are going to be confirmed.
Every single one.
I do.
And they're ready to get to work.
We look forward to a very smooth transition of the FBI, and I'll be ready to go on day one.
I'll work with him to get his vision accomplished.
What do you hope to talk to Senator Collins about today?
This is how we're feeling today, right here.
Let's go.
The country's ready for results. The stock market's up, gas prices are down, and Trump's inviting special guests to party at the inaugural balls. The president-elect has invited Xi Jinping of China to witness his inauguration. This is a power move to intimidate the Chinese leader. If he declines, it's disrespectful, and Trump will take it personally. And if he accepts, he'll be forced to observe President Trump at his most powerful moment, with all the presidential pageantry America can muster. You put Xi Jinping in a subservient position, plus you can spy on him the whole time he's in D.C. Trump saying, I'm putting the Bidens out to pasture. Watch. You bribed the wrong guy.
Wow.
The country's on a hot streak, and we're pretty much ready to get things done. So the Democrats should sit back and enjoy the ride. Choo-choo. Dr. Jill is.
I hope that you all feel that sense of, peace and light, and that just for a moment when you leave here today that you feel, a sense of joy. Because I think we all need we all need to feel joy now during this time of the season, during this time.
Guys, I feel joyful because I know that Trump is coming into play. I know that our boy John Kennedy is going off. Check this out. Speaker Johnson, remember how they talked about how did Kamala Harris get over billions of dollars for her campaign? Well, check this. You know who Act Blue is? They help out with the Democratic campaign. Act Blue this is from the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. Act Blue was accepting foreign gift cards until September. This is illegal. House Admin Committee will continue this important investigation into Act Blue next Congress. Our work here is just getting started. Guys, they've been cheating for a long time. They said there was no voter fraud, and we caught it. They said that Act Blue wasn't, accepting money from overseas, from all these special places, and they have been. It is just one more thing, too. And to me, one of the biggest things, remember, one of the most important things that everybody wants Trump to fix is the border, the immigration problem. And I love it, too, because John Kennedy, he's on it. Check this out.
A Senate hearing on President-elect Trump's plan to deport millions of illegal immigrants turned heated yesterday. My next guest was there, Senator John Kennedy, Republican of Louisiana. And, sir, the New York Times this morning has this headline: recent immigration surge has been largest in U.S. history. Under President Biden, more than 2 million immigrants per year have entered, government data shows. And if you read into the article, it says it's the most since something in the 1800s. I can't remember the exact year. So President-elect Trump said he was going to do mass deportations. The voters decided he should be the president, and that is going forward. So at the hearing yesterday, what were you trying to get at? What was the answer you were looking for?
I was hoping to see some sanity. I didn't. It was a Democratic hearing, Dana. Senator Durbin called the hearing, so there were mostly Democratic witnesses. As best I can tell, most of the Democratic witnesses, they majored in online activism with a minor in puberty blockers. They were all from the moonbeam wing of the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
They all believe in open borders. They all believe that vetting people at the border is racist. Most Americans don't. And they all see allowing people to come into our country illegally and stay through a political lens. They think that it will mean more votes for them. It's a very cynical way to run government.
What was the issue in regards to what the General Manor was talking about in terms of utilizing the military? Was Senator Durbin basically putting the witness there to say that that should not happen?
Yeah, well, the scenario that Senator Durbin is trying to promote is that President Trump is going to call out all of our troops, including bringing troops from overseas, and implement on day one a mass deportation. It's a huge overstatement. Now, President Trump is going to enforce the law, and the law says very clearly that illegal immigration is illegal.
Yes.
And he's going to enforce the law, and I think most Americans want him to. But these activists, they just don't believe in having a border. They just don't. They think that you're a racist if you believe in enforcing the border laws.
Victims also got to say yesterday, Patty Morin is the mother of the late Rachel Morin, who was killed by an illegal immigrant. Watch her here.
I think deportation is necessary. The American people should not feel afraid to live in their own homes. You should put American citizens first. We are the ones that pay your paycheck. We are the ones that pay taxes.
So Patty Morin, of course, somebody that we always want to pay attention to. While I have you, can I ask you about this one other issue? I read this article twice because...
Let me tell you this. The amount of change that's coming, it's pretty substantial. Like, so they've been working behind the scenes. They've been looking at, okay, how are we going to cut the federal spending? And sorry, guys, I'm still feeling like I've got something... I'm feeling just a little bit sick, but not too bad. But I feel like I got some congestion thing, weather changing, you know. But please forgive me for the coughing and whatnot. But I want to show you this because I'm telling you, Trump is built different. Thank you so much, Mr. Norby, for the super chat. Let's go. He said, the way the illegals are here, why don't we tax the crap out of them for all the money that they've got for free from this administration? It's Build Back Better loan. I agree. If you're going to come in illegally and pretty much break all the laws and get all the taxpayer benefits immediately, you need to pay up 100%. Y'all show Mr. Norby some love in the chat. Guys, listen to this. This is Trump built different.
So Taliban is our enemy. ISIS is our enemy. We have an area that I brought up with our generals 4 or 5 weeks ago, where Taliban is here, ISIS is here, and they're fighting each other. I said, why don't you let them fight? Why are we getting in the middle of it? I said, let them fight. They're both our enemies. Let them fight. Sir, we want to do it. They go in and they end up fighting both of them. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. I think I would have been a good general, but who knows?
Y'all see that? I'm telling you, that's common sense. If your enemies are fighting, why do you get in the middle of it? Let them fight and, pull each other more down, and then you can go in and clean up the mess. But I wanted to show you this too, because I'm telling you, the amount of money that's going overseas, and this is why I put in the title, the budget reconciliation. What you're about to hear, it's insane. The tens of millions to billions of dollars that is going overseas that we now have, for a fact, have caught the evidence of. Listen to this.
This place absolutely lives up to being a swamp when we try to cover up the fact that 26 of your diplomats told you directly that if you continued down the path that you were going, that it was going to be a disaster. And we should not be covering that up. I want to talk about a couple of things today. You are our top diplomat. That's not in dispute. Have you been in Afghanistan since 13 American service members were murdered?
No, I have not.
Have any of your staff visited the U.S. Embassy in Afghanistan since that day?
We've had people in Afghanistan. I do not believe they visited the embassy.
Do you know who is currently residing in our embassy?
The embassy is obviously not under our control. We don't have the ability, not being in Afghanistan, to control it.
Do you have any information on anybody that has spent any time residing in our embassy since our departure?
No doubt if we do, or in any event, the intelligence community does. And I'm happy to share that as appropriate.
Yet, we are still giving the Taliban tens of billions of dollars. There's an American citizen out there, literally woke up this morning, losing 30% of their paycheck, and a good percentage of that is going to the Taliban or other programs abroad. And this is something that we all need to think about, and we will be thinking about deeply for the next 2 years. There's a joke that's made often out there about kids going to college to learn basket weaving, and what a joke that would be. But the United States right now is literally sending tens of millions of dollars to the Taliban, 14.9 million to be exact, to teach Afghans how to do carpet weaving. Let's think about that.
Again, guys, I love it. I think Trump 2024 said it. I'm going to make some shirts that say you can't make this up. Like, it is so insane. Our taxpayer dollars, your taxpayer dollars, are going overseas to pay people to do certain things. It is so ridiculous.
They're giving $280 million to the United Nations to do cash transfers for food in Afghanistan. Yet we're not sending an ear of corn from Iowa, a sack of potatoes from Idaho, or a cucumber or an orange from Florida. And that discounts the fact that there's no American tonnage going through our ports to send those things out of here either. It's just cash transfers. Another line item, these are directly from CIGAR reports. $75 million to teach Afghan women to be farmers. I don't believe that we spend $30 million in the United States of America to teach women to be farmers. My colleague, Mr. Wilson, brought up that they can't even dance in the streets or speak to one another or go to school. I'm not sure that we can trust that that $75 million is being used to teach them agriculture. And as you pointed out, we don't have any diplomats on the ground to confirm the validity of these programs. Here's one that I was entirely curious about, and maybe you could explain it to me. $3.5 billion transferred to the Afghan fund that is tended to protect the macro financial stability on behalf of the Afghan people. What the hell does that mean?
Whoa!
Can you tell me? I don't know. That's a bunch of gibberish to me.
Happy to address all of this, Congressman. Thank you.
I'll give you one more.
Okay.
Before you address it.
Please.
Even worse, by the numbers, we spent $9 billion to resettle 90,000 roughly Afghan refugees here since the fall of Afghanistan. My simple army math tells me that's about $100,000 a person.
God.
That's absurd. So my question for you, we do not even have an embassy in Afghanistan. We have no diplomats there. What are we doing giving them $1?
So, Congressman, as I believe you know, the money that we provide and the international community provides is done through partners, implementing partners, UN agencies, NGOs. They have.
Yes, we could say that about all the State Department dollars, foreign NGOs, foreign countries, foreign companies, and in this case, foreign adversaries.
So each of these institutions, as verified by the department, has in place processes to make sure that the money that we provide and others provide is spent appropriately. And the money that has been spent in Afghanistan, and I think internationally it's about $8 billion since the evacuation, has helped avert famine. It's helped prevent the collapse of the health system. It's helped prevent the collapse of the entire economy. It's helped avoid bringing even more disaster
Mr.
on
Secretary,
people who are suffering.
You know for a fact that people literally, especially outside of this country, they directly lied to us. Your people had to come back and correct, hey, it turns out we were in fact spending $500,000 to expand atheism in Nepal through the third-party implementer of Humanist International. They were lying to us. They didn't show us the exact slideshow that they put together for $500,000 and all this. They lied to us. We have no eyes on the ground, and I would simply close with this. We do not even have an embassy there. We have no business putting $1 into that.
Guys, let me tell you this. If we in the United States with people here in the United States cannot even pass a dang audit for the Pentagon. How in the world can we trust to actually keep track of billions and billions of dollars that we're sending overseas? There's no freaking way. I don't believe it. There's no possible way. If we can't do it whenever we actually have people that we pay, American citizens, to keep track of stuff, and we can't even do it here, there's no way we can do it overseas. Thank you so much, Patrick Nichols, for the super chat. Let's go. He said, plus all the equipment Biden left to the Taliban. $83 billion worth. Y'all show Patrick some love in the chat. Guys, let me tell you this. This is a big reason right here. Elon Musk posted, the federal government computers and softwares are in such bad shape that they often cannot verify that the payments are not fraud, waste, or abuse. So if we can't verify if they're fraud, waste, or abuse, what is the whole purpose of continuing to give more money? That's why the government can't pass basic audits. They often literally don't know where your tax dollars went. It's insane. He said, my preferred title in the new administration is volunteer IT consultant. Need to fix the IT infrastructure in order to make government work. This is a grind and hardly glorious, but we can't make government efficient and fix the deficit if the computers don't work. Guys, I'm telling you, I come from knowing IT. I come from knowing software, all that stuff. That's what I've done for, in my life in previous jobs. Computer update software is super important. And if we can't track where things are going, we're in a bad spot. I want to show you this because we got an update for Doge. And I'm super happy every time we get an update because I want to cut all this stupid government waste. Check this out.
Well, our federal government is long overdue for a spending overhaul, obviously, and the newly formed Doge caucus is wasting no time taking action. Joining us now to discuss their mission and the road ahead is one of its key members, Pennsylvania Congressman Dan Muser. Congressman, thanks for being with us. Okay, so here's my theory. I think it's better to shut down a department than shrink it. Because if you leave anything there, they'll just grow it back eventually. I look at AmeriCorps and I think, shut it down. Department of Education, shut it down. There's got to be others, Congressman. What else are you teeing up for this?
Well, great to be with you. Look, we're all very much looking forward to Doge. We're excited about it. As you well know, we've had meetings with Vivek and Elon, and there's a lot of low-lying fruit. There's significant dollars to be cut. I mean, just in overpayments alone, a bill I'm going to resurrect and modernize could save as much as $200 billion on an annual basis. That's almost, 1/5 of the goal right there.
Wow.
The number of employees, we've been hearing a lot about that, right? Employees not showing up. Even a 10% reduction in federal workers just via attrition will save $35 billion, $350 billion over a 10-year period. The list really goes on, from contracting to the AmeriCorps to agencies that are simply don't deliver return on investment. And you know what? If you ask the American people, they would agree. They would say, yeah, we cannot send our taxpayer dollars for these organizations since they're not delivering anything in return. We don't want to pay for it.
And Congressman, something though a little bit more controversial is they're thinking about stripping out or cutting taxpayer-funded foreign aid. What do you think about that?
Right here, guys.
Well, it certainly needs to be reviewed and closely analyzed and to see if in fact it is necessary rather than us just pretending to be humanitarians. Like, for instance, $2 billion has gone to Afghanistan, to the Taliban, just in the last 18 months. And meanwhile, we have American hostages being held, being accused of no crime in Afghanistan. One is a constituent of mine, Ryan Corbett. Wow. So there's some outrageous spending taking place. And we got the right people, and we're going to inform the American people as to what we're doing. It's going to be very transparent, reduction towards limited government.
Congressman, I'd like to ask you about Luigi Mangione, the suspect in the murder of the United.
Guys, I pause this because this right here, $66.1 billion in U.S. foreign assistance funding in 2023. This is just 2023. Do this over 15 years, it's over $1 trillion. We can't keep track of the money that we have here in the United States. We can't keep track. We don't know where we've lost trillions of dollars with the Pentagon. We can't keep track of FEMA is giving money to illegal immigrants. And yet we send money, billions of dollars overseas. I don't, this makes me want to literally hold a rally and say, guys, let's stop paying taxes and let's see how far they go, because they cannot tell us where money goes and they keep losing it and they give it away. Why don't we just keep our own tax dollars? It makes sense to me, because they have no problem giving billions away overseas when we have Americans that need help. I don't think I'm too crazy for this. I think that we need so bad Doge to take effect. We need Trump so bad, because if they don't stop this, this will go on forever. And all they'll keep doing is trying to raise more and more taxes, take our hard-earned money. We get taxed when we get paid. We get taxed. We pay taxes when we buy a car. We pay taxes on our house. We pay taxes when we buy groceries. We pay taxes when we buy gas. We pay taxes when we go out to eat. We are taxed like insanely. And yet they keep giving our money away.
Healthcare CEO, if I could, we are learning more about Luigi Mangioni's background and what it seems like are anti-capitalist leanings, with questions about where he learned these ideologies. As we know, he went to the University of Pennsylvania in your home state, and there was a professor that made a post that seemed to celebrate this killing of the CEO. What questions do you have about his training, Luigi Mangioni's training and background, that you want to get to the bottom of?
Well, I'll tell you what, we're very proud of the University of Pennsylvania in our Commonwealth. Yet when we saw what occurred with the past president and their anti-Israel comments, we began even looking further. When we saw the Biden the Biden being sponsored via China, the think tank they had there. So we began looking into it. Now, University of Pennsylvania, to allow this individual who basically did a dance and sang a song and had a big smile on her face, stating that she's never been so proud because one of her former students, or a University of Pennsylvania graduate, you stated, gunned down in cold blood a business executive out on the streets of New York. Look, this person should be fired. The University of Pennsylvania is going to come under fire under this. We send $936 million a year to them from the federal government. I don't like that very much when they have professors like this. They have a $15 billion endowment or so. University of Pennsylvania better get its act together and look at professors that teach revolutionary ideas. Yeah. And meanwhile, our taxpayers are sending funding to them. That's not going to last.
Yeah, if you guys, did you hear that? You can't make this up. Shelly Bergman, thank you so much for the super chat. Said no more handouts. Period. Deal with it, Biden. 100%. Y'all show Shelly some love in the chat. This representative just literally said that we give $936 million a year to Penn, University of Penn. They have $15 billion in endowments, meaning that's what, people that have gone there or businesses have given them $15 billion. Why does the federal government have to continue giving them money each year? Tell me. It is literally mind-blowing. What a waste. Like, if there's anything, guys, that is a waste of American hard-earned tax dollars, is our stupid government and how they just blindly give. And they give it, the money, to all these universities. They give it overseas, and they don't think twice about it. There's so much money that comes in. They're like, we just got to find somebody to give it to. Give it back to the American people. I'm so tired, guys, of Americans getting screwed over by these elitists, by these politicians, by these lobbyists that give money to overseas people and whatnot, and we still got to pay taxes. Why? It makes no sense. If we had a 0% federal income tax and they wanted to do this with whatever money they got from somebody else, do whatever you want. But quit taking my money to go do all this dumb stuff and give it to universities and things like that when they've got $15 billion. Do you know that Harvard gets almost $1 billion a year in federal funds? They got $42 billion in an endowment. It's ridiculous, guys. We need to clean house. This makes me want to run for Congress and go and clean house and just cut all the spending. I wish I could. Mr. Norby, the man, let's go. He said, it's the Biden Build Back Better horse crap. Don't y'all know it? It's time we took back this country, pointed back to where the compass needs to go. True north, 100%. Y'all show Mr. Norby some love in the chat, everybody. We need we need to come to Jesus, man. I'm so tired. Like, when we report the news, we're showing you everything, guys, across the board. And it blows my mind that this money just goes and goes, and it's so hard to make money. It's so hard to make it. And yet, when we give it to the federal government, they just hand it out to anybody and whoever like it's nothing. Thank y'all so much for watching, guys. Thank you so much. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button so I can serve you every day with the top news. And thank you so much to all of our members of the channel. If you want to join the True Life News fam, the link is in the description to join. And thank you so much, guys, to everybody that supports through the super chats. Mr. Tracy J. Norby, Patrick Nichols, Shelly Bergman. Y'all show them some love in the chat. I love doing this every single day. I'm so excited, guys, for where this channel is going and what we're able to do. And it's all because of you. America first, baby. Always. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all so much. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.